Okay, so Brent told me to answer the questions for today about Jason's sermon on Sunday. So the question was, how do we cast out our anxieties? Jensen talked about like what anxieties she casted out and like why we should do that, but this is just like how do we do that? So my dad talked about 4 ways that we can do this. We need to be doing this. First off, to be sober-minded. That's in verse 8. It starts out saying, be sober-minded. Now, what does this mean? Essentially, it just means to clear our minds and like have our focus on one thing. Just be fully aware of where we are in the presence we're talking to God. Not to be distracted or thinking about anything else. And that leads us into the second thing in the scripture. It says, be alert. Your adversary, the devil, is prowling around you like a roaring lion, looking for anyone he can devour. Just to be aware and know that there is someone trying to distract you, and whether it's you or your friends or anyone, just to be aware that there is someone out to distract you, and it's the devil. The third thing is to resist the devil. In verse 9, it says, resist him firm in the faith. So it's not good enough just to know that he's there. You also have to be constant and true in your faith so that you can resist him, and just be true to what you believe in and know that God is there. And the fourth thing in verse 9 is to know the universal reality. It says, knowing that the same kind of sufferings are being experienced by your fellow believers throughout the world. This is just remember that you're not the only one suffering. This is humbling, and it goes along with what Emma talked about, being humble, because we tend to get caught up in our own bubble and like what's going on with us and only worrying about what's going on with me and focusing on myself. But we must remember that other people are suffering and it's not all about us. But this also means that we're not alone in our suffering, and we have brothers and sisters that have been there and that we can lean on during that time. And last is to remember that the King cares. In verse 7, casting all your cares on him because he cares about you. We are struggling, and sometimes it's hard to admit, and we don't want to reach out for help, and we're kind of ashamed if we're struggling. But this verse is a good reminder, because it's not a burden for him to hear our anxieties. His word says that he welcomes it because he cares and he loves about us. So thank you.